Cheyenne. Damn, she was they're all here. I've got mail. I've got mail. You know, I used to hate the guitar. I hated the guitar and everything it meant. For me, the guitar represented a future it seemed no power on earth was willing to shape for me. It only reminded me of a mother that no judge or jury would let me hold. I couldn't see past that kind of loss to feel the rhythms and lifeblood pumping underneath. But my mama loved the guitar. My grandfather, we call him Papa, he taught her when she was, I don't know, 5 or 6, just a little girl. She would always tell me, baby, your papa saved my life when he gave me that first guitar. It may not have stopped me from coming here, but it kept me alive long enough to have you. I mean, we would talk and talk, stretching these scant 15-minute phone calls from Scott's Correctional and then later from Women's Huron Valley into these poetic lectures on everything from finger-picking jazz rhythms to how if you could find the right tonal wood with the right shaped body, you can make even fumbling fingers find the soul of a guitar. Yeah, my mama's music was magic, but I'm telling you, her words were creation. As a little boy, I would wait day after day by the mailbox, and with each new parcel of her love, my mother would teach and raise me. Scribe and this beautiful flowing script I've never seen matched by another's hand. And she would always ask to be sure I got her letters. Especially when this second look legislation thing was coming out, right? This was going to be a chance for her judge to do what he told her he always wanted to review her case and see how she had changed. Who had she become? How had she been rehabilitated? Who was the person now as opposed to the mistake made in the past? And I can't lie, I mean, after 35 years, I was excited too. It might be a chance to see her again, to be a female. So, for a whole year, she used to send me these monthly newsletters, right? We call them Mama's Dramas newsletters, these boutique periodicals filled with the parts and plans of her life and her dreams that she would give to me. And always with these boutique newsletters, there would be stories. Now, I don't know if the stories were true, right? But, I mean, why would I let something like that get in the way of a good story? So There would be like names, characters, a little script if you will. And in each of these stories, there was always a truth of a whole world of living and even loving going on inside of these dead walls, where she would always say, the lights are always on, but it's a very dark place. You know, I thought, man, we can't be the only family going through this, right? So I started volunteering with nonprofits, criminal justice reform groups, and abolition groups like American Friends Service Committee, Nation Outside, Michigan Liberation. So many letters come in from folks inside to these places, and I just kind of started collecting them. I would wait for my mother's letters, and then I noticed I had to. I don't know why. No one asked me to, but I needed to, because if I didn't collect these stories, then who would? But anyway, that's enough about me, right? Because no one actually came here to see me and stuff. Maybe? But anyway, the best parts of these stories, right, are the morals. So, me being me, I thought I'd share some with you, moral of the story. But wait, this is not your Disneyland fairy tale bullshit. No, sir. This is my mother's words, my mother's truth, brought by her essence, her truth. And I tell you, as much as I can say anything, they were my favorites. Hands down. Well, why don't we go ahead and get with the first one then? A wise man is a teacher to a few, but everyone is a teacher to a wise man. Hey man, you got a sec?
No, man.
Great. So you know Stuart, the guy with the long hair, glasses, always on about capitalism and shit?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, Stuart stole my noodle the other day, and I don't really know what to do about it, I don't want to make it worse than it is, but I also don't want to just let it slide, and I was hoping maybe you could say something to him, not from me, but just so he knows, I noticed that my noodle was gone.
Yeah, sure, man. Sure. I really gotta go to work right now, so.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Chad.
Hey, man.
Can I ask you to do me a little favor?
That's about the thing with Paul.
He already told you about it?
Yeah, man. Something about a noodle, so maybe you can.
No. So that's fucked up. No. So what happened was, about a week ago, he asked to borrow my notebook and some gel pens.
Dude, I really gotta go to workshop.
There's more to the story. He asked to borrow my notebook and some pens, and, well, he borrowed it a week ago, and it's been a week, and I still haven't gotten them back, so I figured he likes to take some of my stuff, I take some of his.
Did you ask for your notebook back?
No.
Cool. Cool. So maybe you should ask for your notebook back and give him his noodle back. Dude, I really gotta go to workshop right now.
I already ate it, so, he's right over there. If you could just ask him, just to get back to me.
Sure. Yeah.
I saw you talking to him.
Yeah, man. Something about a stolen notebook. I really gotta go to workshop. It's like the only thing I have for myself right now.
Well, that's the way I feel about my noodle, okay? So why can't you just say something to him? You're so good at settling shit.
Maybe you should just talk to... Look, here he comes right now. Let's...
What's up?
Hey.
Hey! So, you two have some tension. Maybe we can just, talk it through. I think you both took things from each other.
You asked to borrow my notebooks, and it's been a week, and I still haven't gotten them back.
I thought you said I could have your notebook.
No, I needed that.
Oh, that's my bad. Look, I can bring you back your notebook tonight. It's in my locker. As long as you bring me back my noodle, I know it was you that took it.
Sometimes we see things the way we want to see them versus how they really are.
You're right. Hey, thank you, Shot. Hey, Shot, come back, man.
I think he had to go to a workshop.
You're right.
Go to prison to get married. Well, at least it was the women inside who convinced me that it was the right thing to do. So I was visiting in 2019, 2009 actually, the Women's Huron Valley Correctional Facility, where a group of university students were going once a week to do these theater workshops. They were devising a play with the incarcerated women. And one night I was there, and they were telling love stories as a way to try to start a new play. So everybody who was in the room had to participate, and when it was my turn, I told them about Phil. So when I was 16 and he was 17, we went to a journalism conference for high school students in Washington, D.C. And there were kids from all over the country there, and we were separated into these groups, and you were supposed to travel with your group through the week and do things together. And my group was in front of the Washington Monument. We all wanted to have our pictures taken, but because this was 1996, we all had film cameras, and Phil was the poor soul who walked by, and we all put 25 film cameras around his neck because we all needed a copy of the same darn picture. And that was the first time I saw him. Later in the week, we ended up sitting next to each other at this dinner. It was very fancy, and I had no idea that he and his family had not had the money to pay for the dinner. So while the rest of us were eating something real, all he could eat were the dinner rolls that were complimentary on the table. And rather than being embarrassed about that, he just took a bite out of one and made it talk to me like it was Pac-Man or something. And we laughed through the whole dinner and ended up going to the dance together that night. Now, he ended up thinking I was really cool because I could do the Macarena. And we danced together all night. We had the best time. And when it was all over, we sat next to one another on the bus heading back to the 4-H club where we were staying. I have no idea what I was talking about, but in the middle of a sentence, he kissed me. And after that, the next morning, he had to fly back to Michigan, I had to fly back to Texas, and we thought we might never see one another again. But we wrote letters to each other every day for a year. And then, about 10 years later, after a whole lot of life had happened, we reunited, and we called that our second date. That's the story.
My goodness. So why have you not married this man yet?
He's basically already put the ring on your finger.
It would be wrong not to marry that man. What's holding you back?
Well, it's just that my father is in prison, and I can't bear the thought of a wedding without him there to walk me down the aisle, and I don't know when he's coming home.
Okay, I understand, but he would not want you to put your life on hold for him.
No, ma'am. I've been in here for how long? And I missed my daughter's wedding. And do you think she missed out on any of my love that day? No, ma'am.
Okay, here's what you do. You set up a spot, and you hold it, and you reserve it for your dad, and you'll both know that he's supposed to be there.
I'll do that, and I'll hold a spot for all of you too.
I do! Oh, yes. This. Wisdom, respect your body when it's asking for a break. Respect your mind when it's seeking rest. Honor yourself when you need just a moment for yourself.
In 1989, I was sent to the Lawrence Crane Women's Facility in Coldwater, Michigan. And almost immediately on arrival, I noticed if I put a cup of hot water in the microwave to make a cup of coffee, when I took it out, it had an oily substance on top of it and these little white sprinkly things that looked like congealed salt. And it was, and you could smell it. It smelled putrid. You could smell this weird smell all over the place. It was the water. There were signs in the visiting room warning pregnant women. There were signs in the hallways warning the guards not to drink the water or eat the food. There were warnings after warnings after warnings all over the place for everybody but the prisoners, which is a real shame. I also noticed that there was asbestos in the ceiling, so that if I laid on my bunk and I looked up, and it was count time, so everybody was stationary, and the sun was coming through, you could see these little sparkly things that looked like little pieces of glass. And I thought, that's some weird dust. But it turns out it was asbestos. So asbestos was raining on us from the ceiling tiles. And I thought it was a great thing that the facility had heated floors. Oh, they were so nice. Until you saw where the crack was, and if you looked down in there, there was asbestos wrapping paper that was all crusty and funky and nasty for 100 years old, to heat the floors, to hold the thing together. And then, if you saw the sun hit it, that same asbestos was coming up from the floors. I have asbestos in my lungs now. Time went on. I found out that for 100 miles around the facility, the water was toxic, and it happened when farmers went down to the rainforest and shoveled bird shit from the floor of the rainforest to use for fertilizer and brought it back and spread it all over the farmland so that it seeped into the wells, and everything around there ran on well water because it was the outside of the city. And I was told by one of the guards that for 100 miles around, she couldn't sell property because nobody would buy it. They knew it was toxic and it affected everybody. I had a friend named Diane. Diane was a plumber on the street. She was great. She was better than the FBI. She had one of those golden ticket passes as a maintenance person. That was her detail, and so she was allowed to go everywhere the maintenance people went. So she was in the ceiling, and she was all over the entire facility. And she came and found me one day, and she said, "You're not going to believe this one." She said, "In the basement, there's big bags of water softener, and then there's this chemical that has a big bag, and they're putting it on top of the nitrates from the bird droppings, so you're getting a chemical on top of a salt on top of a poison." And that's what we were drinking. We started to collect evidence on that, where we could. Before long, the pipe broke in the front yard next to where the visitors came in and the guards came in for shift change. And so there was this big hole because they were digging, trying to fix the pipe. And the more they dug, the more they screwed up. And they hit a sewer pipe on top of all this madness. And so it's filled with raw sewage. So we had this giant Olympic-sized pool of raw sewage in the front yard that you could smell. It reeked so bad. I used to just wait for my mail to come, because I'd take the perfume strips out of my Vogue, and I'd be in the library tearing up perfume strips, trying to smell Chanel while I'm, smelling cow dung from the spring spread and all of the nastiness that was in the front yard. Everybody started getting sick. It was bad. We had hepatitis, we had tuberculosis, we had scabies, we had mold, we had, everything that you can imagine. And then women would have a period for 2 or 3 months. Some of my very best friends died of rare cancers, ovarian cancer, brain cancer. We had the water, we snuck water out to U of M to get it tested. And when it came back, they said they didn't even know what was in it. They couldn't even identify it. There were so many creepy crawlers in there. New species, I think, were in the water. One day I got called to control center. And I was in my little blue polka dot house dress that I was cleaning. And I thought, well, I don't have a visit today. Who's coming to see me? So I put some shoes on and went to control center with my ID. And there was these gentlemen standing there, these 2 guys in Seville Row suits, very dap daddy. And they introduced themselves and they shook my hand and they said, "We're from the United States government. We're from the Department of Justice, and we are here to represent you on a sexual assault case. And we would like you to be our plaintiff, our named plaintiff. And we're going to come in and we're going to start doing depositions, and we're going to try and stop some of the sexual assaults." And I thought, oh my God, this is a miracle from heaven. Thank you very much. And so the deposition started. They deposed over 400 women. One by one, women went to control center and gave their sworn testimony. I hereby swear my testimony is true under penalty of perjury of law, so help me God. And then they would question you, and they took those answers then to work out what was going to happen next. Going to trial, going to settlement, going to some kind of resolution. The case took several years. I took my evidence about the water to them, hoping that they would be able to do something about it. They came back to me and said, when it was all said and done, we won that case. We won every sexual assault case that we filed. And they said, this case about the water is too comprehensive. It's everybody in the community, so we would have to file for the community, for the guards, for the whole town. We don't have that kind of money. The sexual assault thing is costing us a fortune. So that's all we can handle. But as a result of that, then the state of Michigan closed that prison. And that's how they usually dealt with issues like that. They would close the prison. So they closed the prison, they buried the records. I personally witnessed a nurse from the clinic put boxes of records of prisoners, medical records, in wheelchairs, and they were running in front of us out to the car and putting them in the trunk so the feds couldn't get their hands on the records. So they buried the records, they closed the prison, they made sure that there could not be any kind of follow-up to that. And I found out when I came home, I went to funeral after funeral after funeral of my friends that had passed away, and they ended up being these wonderful odd reunions where we all loved to see each other. We've been locked together for years and years, but but our friends were dead, and so I'm one of the last survivors. My wife is definitely the last survivor of her generation. They all died 10 years older than me, and so that's the story that I took out of prison about the pit.
Wake up! They took my lungs! I didn't hear you right. The card took my lung. I watched her run off with it. By now it's probably on a truck headed for somewhere that's not here. Cookie, I need your help. Find my lungs. Focus on your breathing, okay? Slow. In and out. It's okay, Peaches. It's okay. Hey, Officer D. Hey, you have Peaches' lung. Something's in that bag. That shouldn't be. Peaches' lung? It's in that bag.
No, I'm sorry, it's just trash.
I don't know if you took it on purpose. I don't even know if she's still breathing right now, but I need for you to check her.
All right. Yeah, she doesn't look too good. I'm heading up to the infirmary right now to go get some trash.
Oh,
You can come with
Can you
me.
help me carry her?
I'm a little busy right now.
Officer D, right when I don't need you, you show up. You got any extra medical supplies in there?
No, it's just trash.
Screw it, we never have what we need. Go ahead and throw it out back.
Hey, I have a person in
Whoa, you stay out there until I'm ready. I need to see her cut.
Okay, here.
Nope. This is no good. You gotta get a fresh one. She's gotta fill it out herself. I can't do anything until that happens, so. Oh, that sounds pretty bad. Bad cold going around this year, yeah.
No lung.
You can't just come in here every time you got a little wheeze, all right?
No lung. You stole it.
What'd you say?
Here, I have it.
Yeah, all right. I guess that's okay. All right, I'll take a look. Oh my God. Sounds awful. Officer D? Where's that bag? You got that lung?
The lung?
The lung.
Oh, yeah, no, I threw that out like you told me to.
Well, I guess there's nothing we can do.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, when the past calls, you should send it to voicemail. Just got nothing new to say. My dreams are what got me through my time inside, and seeing them come true on the outside has been mind-blowing. 1 year ago today, I opened up I'm So Cookies and Coffee, the first ever 24-hour cookies and coffee shop. as far as I'm concerned.
Welcome, one and all, to the grand opening of I Sew Cookies and Coffee! I happen to be a huge fan of both cookies and coffee myself. Take it away, Mr. Flowers.
To see how the press reacted just blew my mind.
Let's have some questions over here.
Yes, you.
So what were you up to before I Sew Cookies?
Oh, I was just planning for my shop. Planning. Thank you, yes.
What were you up to before? Surely you couldn't have just been holed up somewhere thinking about it.
You'd be surprised. Thank you, no further questions. Avoiding the I was in prison conversation on live TV is something you only know if you've done it. I commend those that don't hide the fact that they were in prison, but I just want to move on. Anyway, 6 months ago, business was doing so well, I hired my first employee. Hey! Oh, man, okay. You think you're ready to open up shop?
Of course, Flowers. Give people who want cookies coffee. Give people who want coffee cookies. It's that simple. Should be a piece of cake, or should I say cookie?
This is no time. It's not a time for jokes. All right? This is serious. Okay? You ready?
Yeah.
We have a long line of customers. This is our first day. We're gonna open up shop. Ready? Okay. Welcome to I'm Sew Cookies and Coffee. What can I get started for you today?
Flowers, you are way too damn close to them volunteers. Don't make me come back in here again.
Anyway, so that's the dream.
I see it. You, me, cookies, coffee, 24/7. I like the way you think, Flowers.
This ain't a place for flowers. We don't get sun. We never get rain. The only dirt we got is concrete. The only pot we got is the kind that lands you here. There ain't no room to grow till you're treading on someone else's ground. All the seeds you got are confiscated and drowned. This ain't a place for flowers. Anyone who is comfortable spending time in solitude is a powerful person.
Being stuck in a prison cell is similar to being in a living hell. You are crying out for help but have no one to tell. Trapped alone and forced to face your fears by yourself has a traumatic effect on your mental health. The days are long and the nights are cold. The toilet you use is 3 feet away from where you sleep. The walls are full of mold. Hearing people scream all night it is impossible to sleep. You are put on a dog leash and walk to a caged shower only 2 times a week. The food is cold and old, so you barely can eat, but the mice and spiders grab whatever food falls to your feet. You become too numb to cry. So you close your eyes and pray that you die. The only question you can ask God is, why? The days and the nights alone make you feel empty. I thought segregation was outlawed in the 1960s. But before you are even thrown into the cage, you are stripped naked and shackled like a slave. After spending time in the hole, I will never be the same. The treatment in segregation is inhumane. If good people stand by and watch the wicked oppressed, then who is to blame? I am out of the hole and I still pray, but now I pray for change.
If I had my way, if I had my way in this wicked world, if I had my way, I would tear this building down.
Oh, This is from my boy Calvin. He's a poet inside. Bird shit. You know, birds are assholes. No, yeah, you heard that right. Birds are assholes. Okay, wait. Not all birds. I don't think seagulls are assholes. Though I have heard some stories about pigeons and mild correction that give me pause. I'm not going to indiscriminately hate on a whole section of the animal kingdom, so okay. Just seagulls then. Now, I realized this while standing in line for chow. Cabbage casserole. When I noticed this intentional swoop to their flight maneuver, the action behind the intent as clear and calculated as any expertly executed bank, roll, or dive from on high. They hop from atop their perch on the 50-foot light pole, and they dive low like Maverick and Goose buzzing the flight tower. Then they go high up and over the fencing that binds us here, that keeps us here. As they sail over this razor-wired concertina construct, I swear I can see them look back over their dirty white plumed wings, a too intelligent look in their eyes. They knowingly do that which we cannot. And you wonder about the noises, right? The sound they make? Laughter. They make fun of us. Hopping and laughing their tail feathers back over the fence. They make fun of us. And then though, right? As if that isn't enough. No. As if they have to work more salt rub into our already too tender egos. What do? They shit on us. Yeah. We, the unsuspecting inmates lined up outside for our daily midday, afternoon, evening serving of gruesome gruel. They shit on us. Laughing their tail feathers back up over the fence out of our reach. And they shit on us. Damn, wait a minute. Do they have a contract with Lansing? Has the MBOC sent them? I shared this epiphany, right? This enlightened moment of clarity, this amazing insight to this avian antagonist on our yard with my big homie, right? I said, yo, big homie, you see what's happening? And he's like, yeah, He said, one flew over the cuckoo's nest. That's you, bro. You on that bird shit. Yeah? Man, maybe. Yes. Never forget 3 types of people in your life. The first, who helped you in difficult times. The second, who left you in difficult times. And maybe most importantly, who put you in difficult times.
Hello and welcome to our annual prison guard holiday party. Thank you very much. Yes, we do have some new folks joining us this year. So let's first go around, introduce ourselves, and let's tell everyone where we work. How about that? Okay, I'll go first. Yes. I am Mr. Bossman. I am the director of prisons, and I am the most important person in this room today.
Oh.
Thank you.
Heyo, I'm Froth. I work at Body Odor Correctional, or BOC for short.
Yo, this muscle. I work with Froth at BOC.
I'm Ron, Hellhole Correctional.
Yes, Ron, thank you.
I'm Celeste. I work at Highly Questionable Correctional.
I'm the Fish. I work at seriously really miserable correctional facility.
Hey, Froth, you got that stuff?
Yeah. Go to the customer outside. Yeah, cool.
Gentlemen, before we start the party, yes, we do have a quick couple logistics we need to cover first. All right, is that okay? Perfect. There have been an absurd amount of inmates being caught with drugs recently. Yes, last year we caught 35% of all inmates with drugs, which is okay because that's close to the national average. Yes. However, this year, at one prison, we caught 1,974 inmates out of 1,975 inmates with drugs. That literally means one person was not caught with drugs. Why might this be? Any thoughts, gentlemen?
What? That's crazy.
Froth! It seems like you might know something about this.
You know, I don't. I knew I was high. It was high. It was high. I just didn't know it was that high. Yeah.
Yo, you know what it is.
What
I
is
work the visiting room, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got these volunteers stuff that come in, right? And they've always got on clothes and shoes. Right? Even the church ones. Shirts and shoes. They should even have them.
We should just get rid of the shoes altogether for the inmates. Let's just take shoes out of the question.
Interesting. Okay. So you're saying the inmates hide drugs in their shoes?
Yeah.
Okay, it's unconventional, but I like it. From now on, all inmates will be shoeless. Great. Perfect.
Wait, can't they hide shit in their other clothes or their socks?
No!
Clearly these strip searches aren't as effective as we thought, so maybe we should just get rid of clothes altogether.
That makes my job easier.
Yes, it does. I like it. From now on, our inmates will not wear clothes. Perfect. Great. I love it. Okay. This is now my favorite part of the holiday party because, yes. This is where we award Warden of the Year. Yes. This year's recipient has given out 400,000 major misconduct tickets over one calendar year. This means at his prison, he's given each inmate one ticket every day for a calendar year. For this, we award Ron at Hellhole Correctional.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. You know, we have a saying at Hellhole Correctional: the more tickets, the more time. The more time, the more dime.
Yes.
Thank you.
Really nice work, Ron. But I'm not really sure how this whole no clothes thing can work, logistically and ethically and morally and normally speaking.
It stops the amount of drugs that get in?
Yes, but respectfully, your logic is fundamentally flawed. It's very cold in Michigan. They're gonna have to wear clothes like 4 months out of the year. And you said it was the guests bringing the drugs in. So if anything, stricter searches for the guests and more clothes for the inmates, that would be great.
I don't understand. No clothes, no drugs. It's pretty
with that logic, maybe no clothes for the visitors, no clothes for the guards who should not have any clothes on at all. No clothes, no drugs, no fucking problem.
I mean, if the math is mathing you math, right?
You know what? I kind of like it. No more clothes for anybody. No more clothes. From now on, everyone will be naked. No more clothes. No more drugs.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I don't like that. Those inmates can't see us like that.
Yeah.
I don't like where this is going.
I've been suggesting this for years.
Yes.
Well, if nobody can wear clothes, how am I supposed to sneak the drugs in?
Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. Oh, say does that star banner yet wave?
I patriotic when we're locked up in a cage like this.
Calm down, he's a veteran.
Yeah, I served my country proudly, and I would gladly do it again.
They sent you away from your family, sent you overseas to kill and get killed. Now they sent you away from your family, thrown away the key. You're brainwashed, dude. This capitalist idea is only interested in using you as a cog in their imperialist machine.
Yeah, calm down, guys. It's the fucking 4th of July. Yeah, hot dogs, fireworks. Yeah, let's chill out for a little bit, please.
I do like hot dogs, but this is some bullshit.
If you kick each other's asses, there's no hot dogs in the hole. So.
Let's see.
Yum.
Hot dog. I can smell them. You know, back home we used to have a grill just like this. My wife would make these red velvet cupcakes with like these strawberries and they were the bomb.
You know, I bet you're doing a hell of a better job than these people behind the grill.
You know what? It's a day for American pride, and we're American, so why don't we get to celebrate? Huh? That's my question.
I'm not American. We're literally in a cage. They've stripped us of our rights, of our freedoms. I cannot, no, I will not stand for this.
Hey, let's eat, guys.
Huh. Oh, weird. Tastes like when the MDOC tried to give us food poisoning last Thanksgiving.
Only the MDOC can make a hot dog this bad.
4th of July.
Yo, fireworks.
Where?
Yo. Over on the left, by the tower.
No, they're over here, man.
Oh. I still don't see them.
And I think they're like behind the tower or something.
Where?
If you really look, I think you can.
Oh, I do see them.
I don't see them.
I mean, if you try hard enough,
they're gone.
Oh, say does that stars go banner, yeah.
While you're busy doubting yourself, someone else is admiring your strength. Wait a minute. Hey, this one's from Gary. Sarah. I got something from Gary.
Y'all know I love me some Gary. I already know you got a lot of questions. You wouldn't be the first. I tell people about my son, and the first thing they wonder is how a geriatric like myself got an 8-year-old. Then I show them his mother, and the real confusion kicks in. How'd such a pretty young gal agree to be with the likes of someone like me? I know that's what you're wondering. You're wondering what must be wrong with her to make her want to carry my child. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure I know the answer to that question myself. I reckon it's my musical fingers, you know, the way I hold my guitar. Anyway, whatever bug bit her must have left her body soon enough, because I haven't been able to see my boy in years, and that woman won't speak to me. But then I met a guy in here who told me I had legal rights to my kin, that I had the right to see my son. Now, I've heard a lot of mumbo jumbo over the years about my rights, what's allegedly owed to me as a citizen, as a human, but Lord knows I'm not much of any of those in this cage, so I never let myself fall sick with that hope disease that plenty of brothers get, because I know it only leaves you feeling more broke and bruised. Anywho, somehow I allowed myself to believe this guy about my darn parental rights. Thought I would lawyer up or something. And I fought, and I fought, and I fought hard, and sometimes I didn't even know why I was fighting to see this boy I did not even know. But it was all worth it anyways. They tell me I'm the first man in the state to gain parental visitation rights while locked up. Ain't that something? And let me tell you, when I got on that video call and I saw a boy with my big old nose and my eyes and my bushy eyebrows, I thought there really must be a God in heaven. Who else could create something so beautiful out of a messed up guy like me? A beautiful boy who calls me Papa. Ain't that something?
I arrived in 1976 in the old Detroit Public building when I was 21 years old. Almost immediately, I learned about prison superstitions. The place was extremely superstitious, and the women were very much so. And some of them were kind of surprising, although another one was about birds. They believed if a bird flew in the house, it was a sign of death. And clearly out of the blue, you could hear screaming if a bird flew in. And, you know, in that weird kind of superstition thing, someone would die after that. They also had all kinds of superstitions around shoes. If you left your shoes in prison, you would return to wear them again. So you had to make sure you gave all your shoes away before you left. The place was haunted. When the women were sent there to clean it up after it was reopened as a women's prison, it had been a boys' juvenile facility in the 50s. One of those kids sent me a letter once. They said that they found straitjackets in the basement with blood on them, little bloody kids' straitjackets. And they found old wheelchairs and old sewing machines and, you know, the remnants of a place that was over 100 years old. They also said that there were bones in the yard, that there were places where, you know, they had buried children and they had buried prisoners. And when it rained, they could see them, so they didn't want to mow or they didn't want to work in those areas. There was a thing about ghosts. And I was laying in my bunk one day in a room. This was a big deal. It was an incentive room. It had walls. It didn't have doors, but it had walls. And I had a bunkie. I always had a bunkie in the later days. And a ghost came through the wall, over the top of me, over the TV stand next to me, over Barbara Cochran next to me, and out the other wall. And I was like this. I couldn't believe it. And then it dawned on me, wait, that looked like Casper. No wonder Casper the ghost is always seen with a sheet over his head, because that spirit looked like Casper. It was haunted also with women that were killed and maimed in the canning factories. They used to can tomatoes. And people died there. Folks died there. They had a big superstition about keys. And it was believed that if a guard dropped their keys standing right next to you, that you would go home. And those guards held on to those keys, man. If they lost those keys, that was their job. You know, that was their livelihood. And they usually had them attached to their waist, and it would be a big, heavy thing, and you could hear them clicking all over the place. It used to drive me crazy. And you know, to drop it, that's like a major screw up. One of the biggest shakedowns I was ever in my life, somebody had stole the keys and threw them in the drain, and they couldn't find them anywhere. They tore that place up. But one day, when I was closer and closer and closer to going home, finally, after over 26 years, I was standing in the hallway, and the guard next to me dropped her keys. Couldn't believe it. Oh my God. My keys were dropped. And sure enough, I had a public hearing not long after that, and I've been home now this summer for 23 years. Love in the prison library.
My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive. And to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style.
Cookie and I have a lot of work to do, and thankfully today's the day we can go to the law library. You have a call out for the law library.
Oh,
right?
I have a call out, and I've got to work on my appeal, but I don't think you should.
She's cute, right?
She's cute.
Okay, I'll talk to her. The thing about the law library is that this is where our best flirting gets done. Yes, real work gets done here. Very important work. Work that changes lives. Work that I have a feeling will be getting done today. I have an idea. This is gonna work.
What you reading there?
Oh, I have immediately forgotten the name of this book. It's about this woman, this German, Catherine the Great, except she's not even German, and she dethroned her husband, and she doesn't care about Catherine the Great. And I know she doesn't care about Catherine the Great, but I think if she stops looking at me, I might die. So I keep talking about Catherine the Great, and maybe she'll stop me and say something like,
I think you're pretty great.
it's working. What are you reading?
Oh, it's this book about ugly Barbara.
Ugly, ugly Barbara.
Ugly Barbara.
The dating pool is huge around here, and yet somehow she's the one getting around. We both had... Anyways. You're really pretty.
I am, aren't I? You're really pretty too. You wanna be my girlfriend?
Yes. It worked. Yes.
Don't give up on the person you're becoming.
Okay, what up, y'all? So last week we all went around and shared stories of something that gets us through difficult times. So today, does anyone want to volunteer to try and put it on its feet?
You know, I actually wrote my story down. Okay. This is teachings from the muskrat.
Oh, should we cast our muskrat?
Yeah, I think that's first. Once upon a time, I was a muskrat. Lived by myself in the woods. The other muskrats wanted to come out and play. But I was only concerned with myself and with building my home. And so I did just that. I would build every day and every night, chewing on giant logs until they were the perfect shape for my house. I would chew on the right side, my mouth would get sore, and then I would chew on the left side, my mouth would get sore. It was like either way I couldn't win. I then realized it was probably easiest to chew in the middle, and so I did. With this new method, I was able to keep going. Once I finally had enough logs to protect myself, I went to feel my front teeth and realized that they'd grown. I used to have little baby teeth, but after everything I'd worked so hard for, I had to evolve. I was surprised, but I realized this was going to have to be my home for a while. One day, a windstorm picked up in the forest. It tried to stop me, but I could not stop building. As I worked, the gusts only got bigger and stronger, and before I knew it, one of the trees fell right on top of my thin, round little tail. Ouch! I screamed. I turned around to find my old tail completely gone. In its place was a huge, flat tail. I was in pain, so I went to the nearest mud puddle and caught my tail and get some cooling relief.
Oh, that's much better.
But even with a broken tail, I didn't stop working. I couldn't. I was longing to have my old tail back, but as I kept working, I realized my new tail was actually helping me. I could use it to pack in the weeds and mud and twigs. What I presented was helping me lay the foundation. Finally, my time working was done. I could come home.
With my new big teeth and flattened tail, I decided the name Muskrat no longer fit me. No, I needed a new name, one that represented all of the obstacles I'd overcome. So I decided my name would be Beaver, because I wasn't the same person I was before I had to build a home for myself. The end.
My mama called me this afternoon for the weekly Hendrix update. And let me tell you, that boy has not changed. He is 4 now and more talkative than ever, which hurts my head. But hey, apples don't fall too far from the tree, am I right? She puts Hendrix on the phone and he immediately jumps to telling me about how he learned the letters K and M. Well, what about L, Hendrix? L? I don't care about L right now. Boy, I have always admired his strength. He has no pressure to be anyone he is not, until the day society pressures him to be. You see, I tell him I am in prison because little black boys aren't given the permission to be innocent in today's world. I tell him I am in prison because I know that black men make up 53% of Michigan's prison population. So it's no secret that he could end up right where I am. And I tell him I am in prison, but sometimes I wish I didn't. Mommy, we had show and tell about our parents today. It's 8 a.m. and all the parents flow into the small classroom. I find a seat at the end of the back row because I know Hendrix will make a scene if he sees me. I squeeze my thick thighs onto one of those elementary school chairs and I spot him sitting in the middle of a clump of his classmates on a rug shaped like a map. Everyone gets up and shares. But of course, my boy is the last to go. That's for last, Mommy, he always says. He stands up holding a large piece of paper in his hand. He unrolls the paper to reveal a colorful image of he and I outside, with one of those little corner suns the kids like to draw. I would always tell him that the sun is round, but you can only say so much. He begins to describe the picture, starting with, "This is my mommy." He pauses, staring at the paper. We are running through a field of orangey blue flowers with grass up to our knees. On one side of us, his favorite basketball lies in the grass, and on the other side is a black and white smudge, which I can only assume is our dog Oreo. Birds soar through the sky, and there are metal bars around me. Metal bars. Why are there metal bars? Time's running out, Hendrix, the teacher warns. He calls out, "And she's in prison." Time's running out, Ainsley, the guard demands. Mama, tell Hendrix I love...
Dear Mr. Wilson, I am writing to you as the warden to offer you my sincere apologies following your mother's death on 22nd of April, 2022. Every death is a tragedy, and that deeply affects families, staff, and other prisoners. Ensuring the safety and well-being of those in our care is a priority. When it happened, I remember Papa saying, "Your mama didn't want to die, boy. She had been to that prison doctor back and forth, had just come back that morning. She was holding on for you." Me. Boy raised between razor wire and paper cuts, between pat downs and JPEG pictures, between loss and love. I thought my mother symbolic. Her life the sacrifice laid at the base on the altar of my need for a mother to love her love casting light, shadows, and promises of plenty. Her release would be my rope to climb. Or maybe in this case, to hang. But still my tether to always. What Papa said, all of it, how they tried to save her, the procedure to release her body back to us now that she's no longer in it. But I couldn't understand it. It didn't make sense. They were gonna pass the second look bill. They had used her story in the papers. They made it seem like she was coming home. We were so close. We were so close. And I guess then you realize close is never close enough when decades are measured in inches of ink scrawled on a judgment sentence, when almost only leaves you empty-handed. But I can still remember her singing. I paid my debt, baby. As sure as the song I sing to you, I paid my debt. And they gotta let me go. It felt heavy, like time, but like how my mother used to say it, endless, grinding, churning with no compassion. These moments ticking by were making minutes to make sense of this new life and this new world of afterwards, this new world of after her words.
Cozy, you do not have to accept the things that you are not okay with. This is the story I took out of prison. This is the story of the rats. Coldwater Prison was full of rats. There were large northern gray rats that were thought to have come on the ships from the UK during the Great Migration. There were sleek, shiny black rats that were thought to be local to the area. There was a giant brown rat as big as a cat with fur on it. Couldn't believe it when I saw that thing. That we named after the doctor, Naylor. It seemed like we always had rats, but there were more and more and more of the rats. I couldn't take it anymore. So I started investigating rats. I did a rat study. And I determined rats procreate every 22 days. Rats can eat through steel, glass, brick, wood, you name it. And rats are very, very afraid of water. When it rained, if it was a torrential downpour, at the foot of my bed, right outside of the window, was a pipe that went up, a drain pipe. And the rats would run up the drain pipe, and I could hear them, and they would run over my head, and they would head over to the kitchen where they were going for dinner. Sometimes I could lay in my bed and I could hear the rats in my locker, in my commissary. It would eat right through the steel on the bottom of my locker. That was terrifying. And it was really funky to, pick up all the rat mess. And they'd squeal when they would communicate to their fellow rats that, there's good stuff here, come and get it. I filed a grievance about it, which is the procedure if something's wrong. And the grievance came back to me and the warden said, this is a class issue. You cannot file a grievance based on a class issue that applies to everybody. And I thought, well, that's a hell of a way to get out of it. So I was at my wit's end. You could see them, walking to dinner. They were all around the kitchen. So in dire need, I called my sister Jean. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. We're overrun with rats. We've got rats everywhere. The grievance isn't working. It'll take forever to file suit or to do some kind of a, complaint with public health. And then, of course, the retaliation was always close behind that. So Jean said, I'll see what I can do. So the next thing I know, here come these two huge trucks through the sally port, right next to the kitchen, right next to the library, right next to where I lived. And they pulled in, and these guys jumped out of these big trucks and went to work. So one truck scooped up the dumpsters, and one by one, they took the dumpsters out. There were two great big dumpsters out there, and they took them off grounds. And then the other guys had huge mallets, cement mallets, and they started whacking and whacking and whacking the cement platforms that the dumpsters sat on, and cracked it, and all of a sudden rats just came pouring out of everything. There was rats everywhere. And I could hear guards screaming over on the sally port next to the kitchen. Of course, this is another case where I kind of thought it was funny. And they was out, right? Oh man, that was a highlight of my life. So, and of course the rats, once they got loose up there, they headed over to the kitchen to them. So the next thing they did was they put these big black boxes out with the trap door and with food in it and poison and, killer rat stuff. And so we had these black boxes all over the count. They were in the yard, they were next to the kitchen, they were right underneath my window, they were all over. And then the rats started eating the poison, and then we had bleeding rats every freaking where. It was the grossest thing you ever saw. And, so I wasn't eating in the chow at this time. I was eating that noodle. I still want like a good cup of noodle, by the way. So the rats disappeared after a few days. And I called Jean back and I said, something happened. They came in and they got rid of all the rats. What did you do? And Jean said, well, I called the warden and I told her I was the lady that lived in that house right across the street. And my yard was overrun with rats. And if she didn't do something about it immediately, as in that day, she was calling the governor's office and reporting it. Oh. That's what happened. But I wanted to know, how come you didn't do that 20 years ago? Most people do not understand what it's like in this place. Let me show you with my words. It's like coming to a black hole of no hope and no love. You live repeating the same day over and over and over again. You're just a number. There's no one to help. It's hard to find, but there is life in the dark that no one sees. I have so much hope in me. If you need some, just ask. We can find a way.
There are some smiles in life that hold no meaning, but then there are other smiles in life that mean more than the world. And within these very brief moments we shared with each other in those rooms, those smiles were the greatest. There aren't many times in a day that I do get to smile, but the ones I did get to share every Saturday will be hands down the most memorable. And truthfully, I miss y'all already.
All that being said, I had to thank you. I've been in here for 23 years, and after a while, experiencing prison and everything in it for as long as I have, everything starts to fade into nothing. Thank you for giving me something. And to be clear, that something is not the class. That something is your students. They have been for me like rain.
I got the books this week and donated them to my library call-out Friday. They should be on the shelf within the week. I really believe they will be responsible for sparking someone's sense of self-worth, someone's realization that their thoughts and work can be a conduit to something more, something beyond this place.
Each and every one of us has the opportunity to use our art to change the culture when it comes to the conversations this country has about justice, impacted people, and carceral settings. There wasn't a single moment when I shared my story, whether it was about my heritage as a Native American or my struggles inside prison, when I didn't have the full and earnest attention of everybody in the room. A less modest person might attribute that to their stunning good looks or hypnotic charisma. I know it was because each of you came into this with a welcoming heart, and in Indian culture, a welcoming heart is a gift straight from the Creator.
Precious, I'm sorry that I could not keep my promise not to ever leave you again. I did not want to, and I know you understand this, but it doesn't make it any easier on either of us, does it?
Thank you for giving me something that I will hold on to for the time I have left in my life. You saved me without even knowing you did. Your understanding, hope, and care you all gave at just the right time. I thank God for you all coming into my life, for letting me see some light in the dark.
Life is not promised to us. Anything could happen. We are not guaranteed to grow old. I don't feel sorry for myself. I feel grateful that God continues to bless me with good health and life each morning. It doesn't get any more fortunate than that. Thank you for responding to my repetitive letters, and thank you for allowing me into your world.
I've learned unconditional love that I can share with you. Love shines, grows inside of you. Love doesn't discriminate. It advocates and demonstrates. Love welcomes you when you least expect it, on the inside of here or on the outside out there. So welcome love just like this.
There is a Russian proverb that simply says, life is hard. And so it is. But we can find happiness in this world also. Especially someone who is talented and wise as you, my daughter. There is so much in life to enjoy. So don't dwell on the sad things in life. Don't be dragged down by sorrow. Take a lesson from Granddaddy and enjoy each day just because the sun came up that morning. Search for the good in people. We will not always find it, but the search is worthwhile. I love you dearly, precious baby.
I could have talked with you forever. I feel our conversation is unfinished, and I wish I could continue where we left off. I am a good person, and I hold so much beauty within my heart and soul, but yet here I am trapped with no one standing by my side. I know you are very busy, and I took up a lot of your time already. Thank you for everything, and I hope to hear from you soon. Have read some good books lately, probably more than normal because of the lack of sleeping, but it keeps my mind occupied and me out of trouble. Not much else to ask for in life at this point. Just remember I miss y'all and think of y'all daily. I know I do not communicate that well lately, but never doubt that I miss y'all. Remember how much you have changed my life, and I know you are continuing to do the same for others. It is only a small part of what makes you so great.
Who am I? Michigan Department of Corrections, number 569827. I'm a criminal. I'm a crook. I'm a low-life degenerate. I'm a lost cause, a waste of life. I'm an animal, a menace to society. That's if you let them tell it. Opinions are like, you-know-whats. Everyone's got one. See, I don't allow other people to speak for me. Not a judge, jury, prosecutor. Nobody passing judgment gets to sum up my experience. Who am I? I am strong. I am intelligent. I am courageous. I am a believer. I am a protector. I am my mother's son. I am a future father. I am a taxpayer. I am not much different from you. I am somebody that matters. I am Jordan Christopher Dansky, a name, not a number. I am not a criminal with a past. I'm a man with a future.